It is an interesting collection of people you've talked to in the past, and it's been fun to watch just because it's it's people you wouldn't. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know anything
appreciate
about. So it's
that. I
good.
mean, in aviation, or call it over the last 700 hours I've been flying, I'm constantly trying to figure out, well, what is the purpose here? What am I doing with this? And do I want to just go fly to burn fuel, or go up to the same meadow I land in all the time, drink more coffee, where I've been 100 times, or whatever it is, right? And I actually was sitting around a campfire with Jim Zellers back, and he was telling this whole story about the build up to descending Half Dome, and he's I think still to this day the only guy to descend Half Dome on a snowboard. And I was super intrigued by the story, and so then years later, fast forward, I was kind of sitting around and thinking about flying with people, and I was like, God, remembered the story about Jim, and I called him up and I said, hey, you want to go fly? Let's go fly over Half Dome. I want to hear your the story of Half Dome while we're looking at it, and that kind of just sparked this whole idea, like, it checks the boxes of I love to fly with people. I like storytelling, just like what you're doing, and I love the combination of the visuals and the scenics you get. And on top of that, like, you take someone with a passionate story over somewhere, like the nostalgic factor just comes out, and it becomes this really kind of emotional thing and whatnot. And so I was like, I think I'm onto something here with these backseat stories. It's I like to just fly with interesting people over places that are meaningful to them, and that's kind of what it's become. I did the first one with Jim, and I was like, okay, well, how do I sort of keep this thing going and get interesting people to go fly. And the only, I think, positive I have to that is through my connection through action sports and through the skateboarding and through aviation and through my life journeys. I've got this pretty extensive network to interesting people, whether they're famous musicians to athletes to skateboarders to creative arts to whatever, right? And so I've just after I just had one or two episodes, it was hard to get some of these phone calls back, or people be like, well, what I talk to them about, well, what are you doing? I'm not quite sure, I'm not following. Now that I've got a little bit of a library and some big names, it's a lot easier to have the conversations. And so it really just checks the boxes, like gives me some purpose to fly. You get some of these really interesting stories and fun people to go backseat, and it's really off the cuff. They're supposed to be fun. It's not it's not a rigid format or anything like that. At the time, I don't have any notes written down or anything. We just go fly and see what it turns into. I kick the cameras on and we forget about it. And that's the backseat stories are super fun, and I've got a number of them lined up. A couple next week. I'm editing 2 of them right now, and my latest with Caitlyn Jenner was the first fiasco. Halfway through the flight, the audio camera battery died, so I was like, oh, Caitlin, crap, grab, I had batteries in the back, so grab a battery, and we swapped it. But when we plugged the camera back in, somehow the audio didn't connect or whatever. So I hit record, and halfway through the interview, it's just aircraft noise. I'm like, oh, damn it. Luckily, she's so cool. I called her up. I'm like, yeah, you're not going to believe this when we swap the battery. She's like, I don't care. Let's go fly again. It'll be fun. I was like, well, at least next time will be more streamlined. We got the whole talk track pretty much dialed on what we could talk about.
Yeah, you've had a practice run at it, so.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, okay, well, it looks like I'm ordering a second audio cable and hooking a second camera
Backup,
into the second headset, because if we have, I always need a backup, whatever. But I love the backseat stories. That's been like my main focal point now, kind of moving forward.